Good morning. Sorry about that. I had to do a start and stop. Con gets all the views. Con gets all the views. Good morning. Okay. I was actually up very early this morning, and I actually had an early appointment, so we are done with that now, and I'm late for this, but it's okay. We're just going to go over the Holy Quran by Drew Ali, and we will cover this and then cover the next part of Job during lunch. And with this, we have been talking about loss in the sense of Job. We've been heavily discussing loss and suffering. So we will be covering a little bit of a topic of loss today, but it's actually going to be MATHENO'S less John when he lost his mother. So John loses his mother, Elizabeth, at age 12, a very hard thing for any child to have to experience, and MATHENO'S is giving him this lesson about grief, about death, but more importantly about who John is and what his role is and how to establish his representation of purity. And he actually discovers and is taught the act of baptism, and this is where he learns how to baptize. This is how John becomes John the Baptist. So again, teaching John really who he is now that he's ready to go through the next phase of his life due to his mother's unfortunate passing. So let's go ahead and begin. We have here chapter 4 from the Holy Quran, nobly prepared by Drew Ali. It's Death and Burial of Elizabeth, and MATHENO'S Lessons, the Ministry of Death. When John was 12 years old, his mother died, and his neighbors laid her body in a tomb among her kindred in the Hebron burying ground, near the Zacharias tomb. And John was deeply grieved. He wept. MATHENO'S said, "It is not well to weep because of death. Death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to earth, that it may sail on smoother seas. No language can describe a mother's worth, and yours was tried and true. But she was not called, hence her tasks were done. The calls of death are always for the best, for we are solving problems there as well as here, and one is sure to find himself where he can solve his problems best. It is selfishness that makes one to wish to call again to earth departed souls. Then let your mother rest in peace. Just let her noble life be strengthened and inspiration unto you. A crisis in your life has come, and you must have a clear conception of the work that you are called to do. The sages of the ages call you a harbinger. The prophets look to you and say, 'He is Elijah come again.' Your mission here is that of a harbinger, for you will go before the Messiah's face to pave his way and make the people ready to receive their king. This readiness is purity of heart. None but the pure in heart can recognize the king. Teach men to be pure in heart. To teach men to be pure in heart, you must yourself be pure in heart and work and deed. In infancy, the vow for you was made, and you become a Nazarite. The razor shall not touch your face, nor your head, and you shall not taste wine, nor fiery drinks. Men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. The man who stands upon the corners of the paths and points the way, but does not go, is just a pointer, and a block of wood can do the same. The teacher treads the way. On every span of ground he leaves footprints, clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. Men comprehend the inner life by what they see and do. They come to Allah through ceremonies and forms. So, when they would make men know that sins are washed away by purity in life, a rite symbolic may be introduced. In water, wash the bodies of the people who would turn away from sin and strive for purity in life. This rite of cleansing is a preparation rite, and they who thus are cleansed, comprise the temple of purity. And you shall say, you men of Israel, hear, reform and wash, become the sons of purity, and you shall be forgiven. This rite of cleansing and this temple are but symbolic of the soul, which does not come with outward show, but it is the temple within. Now you may never point the way and tell multitudes to do what you have never done, but you must go before and show the way. You are to teach that men must wash, so you must lead the way, your body must be washed, symbolic of cleansing the soul. John said, why need I wait? May I not go at once and wash? Nathanael said, 'Tis well. And they went down to the Jordan ford, and east of Jericho, just where the host of Israel crossed when they first entered Canaan. They tarried for a time. Nathanael taught the harbinger, and he explained to him the inner meaning of the cleansing rite, and how to wash himself, and how to wash the multitude. And in the river Jordan John was washed. Then they returned unto the wilderness. Now in En-Gedi's hills Nathanael's work was done, and he and John went down to Egypt. They rested until they reached the temple of Zacharias in the valley of Nile. For many years Nathanael was a master in this temple of the brotherhood. And when he told about the life of John and of his mission to the sons of men, the Hierophant with joy received the harbinger, and he was called the brother Nazarite. For 18 years John lived and wrought within these temple gates, and here conquered self, became a mastermind, and learned the duties of the harbinger. And again, in the most merciful name of Allah, this is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of Science, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Jubilee. And that's that, you guys. So we learn that through hardship, right, John discovers himself. He is taught. He is dead set on his mission at the young age of 12, all the way for 18 years, okay, learning, being a brother and learning in this temple of Egypt, the temple of Saqqara, still a sacred ground if you were to visit it today. I do believe there's a certain step pyramid located at this location here. But anyways, he's learning from a young age and continues his education, and he actually learns the rites of baptism, which was not called baptism at this time. I'm sure it had a different name, but this was being done, this was being practiced even long before John was exercising it. But he brought it to the people to go ahead and, you know, actually provide this symbolic and spiritual cleansing to the individuals that were to be a witness to Jesus's reign and Jesus's coming and his teachings. Without baptism, it is unlikely that people would have been open to receiving Jesus, and that's why many people were not open to receiving Jesus' teachings and his ways and how he went about. So this is the beginning of John. As you can see, he had other people support him, and he had other people predicting that his steps would be great, and they did even associate him with Elijah, which makes a lot of sense because we heavily associate Elijah also with the Holy Spirit. So it's a beautiful thing. And then harbinger, I think we've discovered what that definition is, and I'll go ahead and read it for you guys if you'd like, but I'm sure we can kind of gauge what this one means. A person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another, okay, the forerunner of something. So exactly, that is what John is to Jesus. No less than, right? No greater than, but, you know, having to be the forerunner is very, very important and very, very spiritually significant. So it's a beautiful thing. We're talking about purity, and this message here on death is very real. It's not something, even today, you know, people mourn and people cry over death because it is a sad thing to lose your loved ones. To have them leave you, that's really what we are mourning. It's not the sense that, you know, they are gone or they are punished or they are saved. We don't think about what's going on the other side of the veil. We just think, oh, because they're not here with us, we are sad and we mourn. But this message on death is very accepting and, or acceptable, I should say, very acceptable, and a concept that I want to bring about more often. Maybe because I'm one of those people that has a hard time softening the heart to death. You know, if somebody tells me something, it's almost like a fake sympathy or a fake empathy that I give. It's very hard for me to realize the pain behind it. I'm going to be quite honest, and it sometimes comes off like I'm, you know, being unsympathetic or I don't care or something of that nature, but it's really because I do know that it is a blessed and beautiful thing that the human race gets to experience. Anyways, this is the message of death. Of course, we do have the empathy and we do have the sympathy for those who are experiencing that loss, and that will continue through when we talk about Job, and we'll hear what else he and his friends have to say about his circumstance. But for now, I think I will let you go. Yes, it's time for me to go. God bless you guys. I will talk to you a little bit later. Just remind me. No, I'll be back on. God bless you. Bye-bye.